Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Universal Fragrances, and we are back with another weekly fragrance rotation video. About 2 weeks behind. It's been a pretty busy last couple weeks. Had the Sacred Flame video that I shot. That was a new release. I had a couple other things going on. So we're getting back on track, and as always, I'm going to leave the name of the fragrances, the day that I wore them, and of course the week of this fragrance rotation down in the description, just to make sure that we're on track. But good to see everybody again. We'll get it started off on Monday. I wore Argos, Love Triumphs Over War. Now, Love Triumphs Over War, again, when I first bought it, a little bit challenging of a fragrance for me. Very, very floral. It's got some masculine base notes though as well. The cinnamon bark is beautifully done in here. You get a little bit of spiciness with the florals in there. A little bit of black currant and raspberry as well. So you do have some fruitiness in the top mixed in with the florals. Certainly not what I would describe as a very masculine fragrance, although there are a lot of guys that wear it and enjoy it. It is actually, if you've seen my video, it's one of my most complimented from the house. So that's not the only reason I wear it. I've kind of learned to love that floral note, and it's an extremely long-lasting fragrance on my skin. I remember wearing this during like fall or winter time when I got it last year when it first come out. And I remember the inside of my jacket on the sleeves, because I normally spray the fragrance on the top of my arms. Love Triumphs Over War had that jacket smelling that way for 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, very, very long-lasting, powerful floral fragrance. Certainly slightly feminine, but I think for the guys, depending on your skin chemistry, definitely give this one a shot, because I think you're missing out. Of all the fragrances that I love from Argos, Triumph of Bacchus, Fall of Phaeton, Danae, the new Sacred Flame. Even though this one was a little challenging for me, Love Triumphs Over War seems to get a lot of compliments. Very beautiful in the air and the scent trail that it leaves around you. So definitely check that one out if you haven't tried it yet. Now, Bleeker Street, all-time classic from Bond number 9. It's a lot of people, along with New Harlem, probably one of the favorites from the house. Still get a very nice fresh cut grass note. A lot of blueberry. I think it's got blueberry cassis in there. So fruity, green, outdoor. Get some caramel and oak moss in there, so not overdose on the caramel, which is nice. It's not anything like as heavy as Tribeca or Greenwich Village, so it's more subtle. Just adds a very, very slight gourmand characteristic. I mean, I just love Bleeker Street, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it on me as well. And there's a lot of good stuff from Bond number 9, but for me, some of their older original fragrances, 2016 and prior to that, have been some of their best ones. Riverside Drive, Bleeker Street, Wall Street, New Harlem, New York Oud, Andy Warhol Silver Factory. I mean, there's just a ton of the originals that I absolutely love. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I think a lot of people agree. Some of Bond's best work were some of their original launches. So Bleeker Street, wonderful outdoor fragrance for spring or summer. Definitely you could wear it during the winter with a little bit of that caramel note in there. So also a very versatile fragrance. Now, on Wednesday, we wore Amouage Epic Man. So Love Triumphs Over War Monday, Bleeker Street on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Amouage Epic Man. One of my favorites from the house of Amouage. I mean, it's very well complemented. It's like a Middle Eastern twist on a very classic men's fragrance. It's green, slightly green-blue with the berry essence and the frankincense. You've got a lot of oud, musk, spice, very exotic smelling. Apparently they created Epic Man to kind of recreate the spices that were traded on the Silk Road a long time ago. And it really is just a very, very beautiful, resiny, spicy, again, slightly green-blue fragrance. One of my most complimented from the entire house of Amouage. I mean, Epic Man is really, really good. And it's one of the fragrances from the house I don't think really gets enough credit, which is completely fine by me. For those who know, they know. And it is a very, very good fragrance, especially if you're looking for something, date night that's masculine. Can't really be confused much for a woman's fragrance, but still in a lot of ways, some ways mass appealing when you have those kind of spice and notes in there with the frankincense, little citrus berry note in there. So man, Epic Man, I know a lot of people love it from Amouage, but it's definitely not one of the most popular ones from the house. So again, if you have not tried Epic Man and you like those types of fragrances, that would be a great one to check out. Definitely one of my favorites from the house. Another great one from Amouage, 2 in a row. So Thursday, decided to follow up Epic Man with Reckless Leather. somewhat of a newer acquisition from the Library series, but the notes really caught my attention on this. And it is beautiful. It's like a spicy, subtle sweetness to it. Very nice, clean leather note as well. One of the best things about this fragrance is how it kind of plays on my skin. You know, ambergris for me and oud really seem to do very well on my skin. And I believe this has ambergris and oud in there. Let me check for you. Yeah, it's got oud and ambergris in there. It's also got some frankincense, muscone, costus, cypriol, sandalwood. So very dense fragrance. And looking at the notes, you might think it was going to be a little more dense than it is. But it does have a very subtle sweetness, very nice clean leather note, you know, reckless leather. And for me, man, this one definitely a very good dress up fragrance, very good date night fragrance. It's masculine. There's nothing too kind of funky or weird about it, like maybe King Blue or Silver Oud, even though I absolutely love those two fragrances. This is a little bit more of a safer option from the Library series. And you also have some other good ones. I think the only two that I don't have as of now are Wood Symphony, which I'm definitely going to buy, and Rose Incense. I'll probably get a sample of that first. But Wood Symphony is definitely a safe line buy for me, just looking at the notes in there. And it also has the note of rum, which I love in fragrances. So, yep, Thursday we had Reckless Leather from the Amouage Library series. Friday, I forget what I was doing Friday. I think, you know, this was 2 weeks ago, so bear with me. But I believe I was going to be working out of town all day on that Friday. I was waking up early. I wanted something that was going to smell good. And I was dressing up, so I wasn't like working outside or doing anything like that was going to require me to sweat. But I did want something that was going to smell really good, go with a dress-up attire, and last all day. And Blue Sapphire was one of the first ones that came to mind. It was also a very hot day out, so, you know, perfect time. That lemon orange kind of candy note, the rose, patchouli, oud. This really, I mean, the top notes are amazing. The way that orange and lemon, the way they did that without making it too sweet, really, really good stuff from the opening notes. But again, one of my favorite parts about Blue Sapphire is that oud and patchouli dry down. Very proper, very long lasting fragrance, and can't say enough good things about it, man. I really, really love Blue Sapphire. I know a lot of people also love it from the house. Just a very, very good fragrance from Boadicea, very long lasting. I've heard it's nearly done at around 35 to 40% oil concentration, somewhere around there. So it does last, and you know, with the money they charge, it should. Now on Saturday, I've been wearing this one a lot lately. I think it was in my last or the one before that of the fragrance rotations, but it's somewhat newer for me. Dubai Citrine. Again, a long time ago, I had like a 7 ml bonbon. I broke it on my kitchen floor. I only got to wear it like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I did enjoy it the times that I wore it. So it's kind of like one of those that got away. Finally found a good deal for Citrine at Joma Shop. And guys, the compliments I get on this fragrance, how it lasts, how it reacts on my skin. I'm actually wearing indigo right now, so you'll see that in a new fragrance review coming up. But Citrine can be worn in the exact same situations as indigo, which is one thing I love about it, so I don't have to use as much of my indigo now. And amethyst to me also has a tropical vibe, even though it can be worn in cooler weather, but amethyst has a tropical vibe, so that's another good one for summer. But Citrine, man, with that red berry, the fir balsam, the seaweed, the florals, the musk, I mean, this stuff is just absolutely dynamite. The fir balsam kind of keeps that red berry from being too sweet, and the seaweed keeps the fir balsam from being too much of a like clean green Christmas note. So the seaweed kind of gives it a little bit of a maritime characteristic, where you have that juiciness from the red berry and kind of that clean, almost sort of Christmas type of vibe from the fir balsam. But again, that's kind of buried deep in there, so it becomes to where it's not very overpowering. To me, the Citrine is just blended beautifully, and it is an absolutely great fragrance for spring or summertime. People will definitely love that, and they'll probably love it on you. And I know a lot of women would probably like to wear this too. I wouldn't really say it leans overly masculine or overly feminine. I think, you know, depending on your skin chemistry and the type of fragrances you like, either a man or a woman could easily pull this off, and it just smells fantastic. Of course, with the seaweed and oak moss, maybe slightly more masculine, but that just depends on your skin chemistry. But man, I absolutely love Dubai Citrine. Very good purchase for me. Worth the $600 retail. I don't really think any fragrance is, but when Joma Shop had this for the low 200s and the full presentation, for me, that's just a no-brainer. Now, on Sunday, I think I got this fragrance in on Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which day. So I sprayed Sacred Flame on, which is the new Argos release, and I did my first impressions video of it. And yeah, this fragrance here, man, extremely deep, resiny, warm, spicy is the easiest way I can describe it. Not overly sweet, not overly powdery. You got the tonka and vanilla, gives it like a syrupy background, and you got the benzoin with the opompanax. Very warm, resiny, almost kind of like a gum, like a bubble gum smell, but not overly candied or not too far in that bubblegum direction, just a very slight hint of it. Very deep and rich and complex. You know, you got the pepper and the citrus notes at the top with the peach, tangerine, grapefruit. If you like those types of fragrances, Sacred Flame is definitely going to be for you. Extreme longevity and projection on this one. One of the stronger fragrances they have released to date, and I don't know the details on the oil concentration. Obviously, Triumph Bacchus Extrait is the strongest in terms of oil concentration. But when you're talking about just the notes in a fragrance and the structure, this is definitely one of the strongest ones they've released so far. You know, definitely it's one of those fragrances that it almost feels like they constructed it for fall or winter time, where they really want it to project and last in cool weather when the heat is not there to kind of lift that off the skin. So Sacred Flame, for me, it's almost like a winter warmer, just spraying it on your skin. You know, it's almost like a blanket as a fragrance. You know, it's just very warm, comforting, calming, resiny. Just think of sitting by a fire, smoking a cigar, sipping a nice glass of bourbon or scotch or cognac or whatever it is. That is what Sacred Flame feels like to me. So dress up, fall, winter time, absolutely. Of course, I just got it in for, you know, it's like 100 degrees out here. So got to be careful with the trigger on that one, especially in the heat. I will be wearing it, you know, a little bit in the heat, and then of course I'll be saving it for fall. But it's definitely one of those fragrances that if you are going to wear it in the heat, definitely spray less of it, because it is a very strong fragrance. So guys, enjoyed having you along on the journey. Got more fragrance rotations coming up soon. I think I have one more to get us caught up, and then we'll be kind of back on track. And I have a lot more videos already filmed that I have not uploaded yet and posted. So just a lot of stuff coming from the channel, trying to keep everything on track as best I can. So really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing and getting memberships. It really helps out the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all soon, all right? Bye.